Morning, everybody. I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is on everything is good until it isn't and bad until it's not. So if you like that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. If you haven't hit it yet and you're uncertain, to make clear, this is about the preparation and moderation for change. Techniques that we can use as we mature that are going to be less stressful for when it's time to go about change and the realization of that change. So now, if you like that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. But before we get started, I want to welcome you back. If you watch this channel or listen to this channel on a weekly basis, and I sure do love and appreciate you and your support in whatever way that you choose to do so on this channel. If you've contributed, thank you so much monetarily, but if you share these videos, I appreciate that. And just if you just plain old watch the videos and like and subscribe and send me good vibes, that means a lot too. So thank you very much. But if this is your first time, I have to let you know that I'm not a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a scientist, any of those things, but sometimes I share along those lines. If I have found something that helps me, I think it might help you too. So what I am is a life coach, though, healer of sorts. I have a webpage called stacyforlife.com, and on this webpage there is a description of services that I provide as a life coach, but also I write a monthly blog, so I encourage and invite you to check that out, okay? Again, that's stacyforlife.com. I'm always looking for topics too, and you're welcome to email me at stacyreinick@gmail.com, or at, my new email address is stacyreneeforlife@gmail.com. So thank you very much. Let's get into today's topic. We're going to talk about the adaptations and adjustments of change and why we need those changes and how do we get to the point where we need those changes. So we're talking about the changes in relationships, changes in jobs, changes sometimes in residence. So why we make these changes and why they're necessary. We wouldn't make the changes at all if things didn't in some way, shape, or form become uncomfortable or even dislikeful, and sometimes they become downright hateful. People just get angrier and angrier and angrier, but as we grow and mature, we find that we don't need to get angry to make a change, that we can just realize certain other things. Sorry, that was my Grinch's wings. He was making noise. The thing is it's just about growth, and in our maturity, that's how we mature, is through growth. We don't just wake up mature someday. I mean, it seems like it sometimes, but that's not how it works. So maturity, requires some growth. And so while we're younger, sometimes we get angry to make a change. We get angry and we get resentful. We may blame other people is why we want to make a change, But resentment doesn't really help anything. We may even find other reasons, and we tend to get angry, and then we need other people to validate us when we get angry, because we may walk out on a job, we may start talking about a job, and this is the thing, nothing's more annoying than somebody who just keeps complaining about the same thing and they don't do anything about it. They find one person to complain to, another person to complain to, because it's just complaining. So how do we go about making a change when we feel like we're just they just feel stuck and they don't know how to get out. But yet in our humanness, our arrogance, we don't believe or trust anybody else, especially when we don't trust ourselves. So it makes it very hard for this mature change. So that's why we fear change, is it's a lack of trusting in ourselves, sometimes a lack of trusting in a higher power. Sometimes we think trusting in a higher power is going to miraculously take us from a change that we need to make ourselves. Our higher power helps us and guides us and will provide other opportunities if we're willing to be open to them. But if we're just complaining, then we're not open to change. We're just going to keep complaining, and that's what they call the insanity. That's what Einstein called insanity, and he wouldn't be talking about it if we humans didn't do that, So as we mature, and one of the things I know that helped me when I was going through significant changes in my life, I learned to this statement, what if this no longer serves me? what if it just no longer serves me? That way I don't have to get mad, when the boss doesn't value me enough to give me the same type of raise that maybe he gave some other people, or, I don't get the raise that I felt like I needed. I don't have to talk smack about the boss. I don't have to, do these things and stay with that same job. I can, that's a true story. It's happened before, is that I had a job and they didn't give me the raise that I wanted, and rather than talking poorly about the boss, I just realized, okay, Stacy, you're working two jobs. One was the self-employment, doing this on the side, and so I was like, well, maybe it's time, because it was for my higher empowerment, and to empower myself, it was time for me to branch out and do my own business solely, because if I'm having to work two jobs to make ends meet, maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe if I dedicated my time to what I could control and let go of what I can't control, then things would be better and that would empower me more. So that's the decision and choice that I ended up making. But that's what change requires, right? Is a decision and a choice. Otherwise, it's just we're complaining. So that's what takes us from complaining to change, is making that decision and choice to change. So when we realize what no longer serves us, maybe we don't have to get angry and burn bridges and, talk smack about other people. It doesn't mean because we don't burn the bridge that we have to cross back over. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, we can just appreciate what that job gave us at that time, because everything is good until it isn't, and then bad until it's not. So sometimes in making the different choices, we may think that things are going to be bad, but we have to be willing to walk through it, and that involves trust too. So really we have to build our trust muscles. When I talk about building our muscles, we have to talk about building our trust muscles, taking that leap of faith sometimes. So what do I mean when I say this doesn't serve me? Well, if it doesn't sit well with my soul, it must go, So the thing is that whether it's our relationships, our jobs, or our homes, we must feel supported. That's what we want, right? Is all of us have a desire to feel supported, whether it's monetarily, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially. Did I miss something? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically. We just want to be supported. And if we're not supported in at least 3 to 5 of those ways, I was talking to my sponsor this week, and, maybe there's not a perfect thing, I don't know, but if you get supported 3 to 5 over half of those ways, then maybe that's okay. If you can get off 5, that is really a gift. And sometimes we can get off 5, and some days we just don't have it, ourselves included. When we're trying to be supportive of people, maybe we're going through something else and we're not as supportive or as attentive as we could be. But, if we can be there over half the time, and try to just be attentive and acknowledge, then that's a plus. Okay, so am I feeling supported? And if you're not supported in any of those ways, well, then it's time just to say, well, this no longer serves me. But when we say this no longer serves me, this means that we look at what did we gain? What did we learn? Because, a lot of people want to get stuck in the shame and the guilt and the wasting of time and all of this, but hopefully you're not wasting your time. See, because everything's good until it isn't, and bad until it's not. So even making a change, will be that it's bad until it's not, because we're just going to go through these different cycles in our lives. And when we can accept that we are going to go through different cycles, and that we can choose to learn something from each cycle, we can realize what does serve us and what does not serve us. And I don't have an edit button, so yes, you see me hit this pause when I'm trying to reflect. So as we realize our mistakes and we learn from them, we grow wiser. And when we grow wiser, we grow mature. Because that's what we're meant to do. That's how we evolve. So, sometimes we're stubborn. We may do them again and again, but what we find, and we say in recovery, is progress and not perfection. Because what we find is they get less and less each time that we get to learn from these errors again, because they're just mistakes, and we all make mistakes. but hopefully we're not repeating the insanity. See, when we do the healing work, we tend to less repeat the insanity, and if we do, we repeat it for a short period of time. And when we leave that mistake, hopefully we leave it better than we did the time prior, and that's what growth is it's not perfection, it's progress. So when we look at change, the first step we could look at in change is our intentions and motivations. When we really get really down to the core, what is it why do I need to make a change? Instead of putting it on the boss that doesn't appreciate me, or instead of putting it on the partner who doesn't appreciate me, instead of putting it on the house that is falling apart, do we stay with the house, put the money in the house, or do we, make the decision that it's time to move and take the loss on the house? Sometimes that's the thing. With the partners, is this, do I stay with the partner and try to make this work, or do I need to make another change? And then, with the job, it's like, do I stay with this job for my betterment, or do I move on? How is this serving me? And this is the thing, is in maturity, you can do it with love. You just, dust your feet off and walk to the next thing that you need to do, the next right thing. So we don't have to go with a terrible energy, because if we take that energy with us, then we're taking that energy with us. Then you're carrying that, and then that tends to be why things reoccur, and you get that resentment because it keeps happening. So it's to do the healing work, to look inside ourselves, selves, and souls, and what is my intention and motivation? If I'm complaining about a job, does this serve me? What could I do that would be different, that would empower myself? Maybe I need to build a new skill. Maybe I need to just look for another job. There's these simple solutions. See, that is the solution, and that's what people appreciate, and it will help you on your journey. Once you get into a solution, people will want to help you, because people tend to, if you're complaining about the same thing but not looking or seeking a solution, and shoot down all the solutions, because this has happened before, is that we sometimes will be complaining in our immaturity, and when somebody gives us ideas, we tend to think that they're insulting us, rather than realizing that they're trying to give us ideas to help us. So it's about changing our thoughts and perspectives on that. So the second thing that we need to have when we're making a change is courage. This kind of goes along with the serenity prayer we talked about a while ago, to accept the things we can't change. So if we can't change something, we just accept it. And acceptance doesn't mean that we, are having a resentment against what we're leaving. It means that we're accepting that it's time for us to step out and empower ourselves and grow. So then we ask for the courage. We want to know, the courage. How can I change, And so we ask for the courage, because it is about trusting and taking that leap of faith. That's where the courage comes from, And it's just like, okay, I'm going to take this leap of faith and have courage that when, things are going to work out. So when we get to do that, then we will get to know the wisdom to know the difference between acceptance, is this, am I getting 3 out of 5 of those things taken care of, or needs met, or feeling supported in any of those ways? If I'm not feeling supported, I have to, start working on it myself. What is it in me, my intentions and motivations? And then asking for the courage to fix those intentions and motivations to be in alignment with what's wise for me. Because as I said to somebody earlier this week, sometimes my truth is not necessarily somebody else's truth, and their truth is not necessarily my truth, but we can have a mutual respect. I can respect that that's their truth and not buy into it, but also not shame them or blame them or even excuse them for whatever it is going on with them, because it has nothing to do with me. So it's my intentions and motivations. It takes my courage. I don't need people to push me, although I can ask for support, So the third step is change. We ask for the wisdom to know the difference, the change. And the thing is that nothing changes till something does. So you have to ask for that change. Okay, because if you're expecting the change to come from outside, unless you're doing something besides just complaining to a friend and afraid you're going to get caught, then it's not going to change. If you go to the source and the powers that be, then you're empowering yourself. And then if they don't change, you can still leave and not, say anything bad about the other thing and, the other way. And, pray for them to have the blessings that you want for yourself, as I've said before. So we ask for change. If you're wanting something, you'll be unhappy for a long time. So ask yourself these 3 questions. Am I happy? Do I feel supported? And is this what I want? So sometimes what's been instructed to me is to make a list of is what I want, what I need, and what I desire. And do I have those things? And how do I get in alignment with those things? A lot of people spend a lot of time talking and less time writing and in turn, taking this in. See, when we write and we take this in, then we can get clear on our intentions and motivations with the first. And the second, then we know what we need, we want, and we desire. And then we can ask for the courage to seek out what we want, what we need, and we desire. It's not just going to come to us. We have to seek it. And then the third is making that change. And that's where the empowerment comes, because once we make that first change, we can make other changes to go along with it. So when we understand that we have free will, we have free will. It doesn't mean that we need to blame anybody else for our unhappiness with our job. We don't need to blame anybody else for our unhappiness in our relationship. We don't need to blame anybody else for our unhappiness in our home. We have free will. You were given that gift of free will. So with that gift, you can check your own intentions and motivations. That's where your free will is. That's where you can get your courage. That's where you can make these changes. And then that's where empowerment comes up, because empowerment is actually EM, but it should be IN, empowerment, because it's inside yourself. Your happiness is inside yourself, and your empowerment is inside yourself. We have support of others when they can see that we're seeking solutions, and then we are in alignment. And when you get into alignment with your authentic self and what you really want, and you have the power, you can also change your mind. I had to learn this too, that I can change my mind. I used to get locked and loaded in stuff, and I've learned that I can change my mind. So sometimes it's adjusting and adapting when we take this leap of faith. Now remember, we can take this leap of faith in love or in fear or in anger, but love feels so much better. Remember, we don't have to burn bridges, but we don't have to walk back across them. We can wave and be like, good luck over there, and all of this. This is what we really, in essence, because it's our growth. It really is. It's your empowerment, your growth. And when you do these things, you develop the esteem. Nobody else can give you esteem. You have to develop your own esteem. And through these changes that you make, little micro changes turn to macro changes. And that's how our heroes do it. The people that you may watch on TV or what have you, or the people that, you admire. They went from little micro changes to macro changes. And they had courage. That's why we admire them. We wouldn't admire them if they didn't have courage. And you have that in you too. I have it in myself too, and it's just about taking that leap of faith, y'all. So I hope that this video has been helpful and help you understand that we don't have to judge things. Like everything is good until it isn't, and it's bad until it's not. When we have excess of too much, it's going to be good. We need to eat, but we don't need to overeat. We don't need to undereat either. So everything is good until it isn't. Dieting's good until you diet too much. So that's what I'm saying, is we can do this stuff without judgment. It's the energy that we carry with it. And I hope that you choose to carry the energy of love. And speaking of love, I wish you much love and peace and many blessings throughout the rest of this week and weekend. And I hope, again, that this video has been helpful. And if you feel that it has, feel free to share it. If you'd like to support this channel monetarily, because obviously these kind of titles don't exactly go with algorithms, because I'm not searching for algorithms. I'm trying to raise the vibe of this universe, trying to bring unity instead of diversity, trying to bring wellness instead of sickness, and trying to promote good health, versus bad health. I just said that with wellness and sickness. But, the polarities, trying to embrace those things and realize that we all have these things going on inside of us, and that it doesn't serve us to judge another person, but to empower ourselves. So I'll see you all again next week. And again, if you have any ideas for video topics, please feel free to reach out to me at stacyrenee4life@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. I also have a question for you, if you'll put it in the comments below. I want to ask yourself, what qualities do you think, because this is what happens, is when we realize through these changes that we can correct, we're correcting and karmically doing things better, even if the next change, seems to be a disaster. When we had all this hope put into the next change and find that we have to change something else again, it's just growth. So what we're doing is we're oftentimes karmically correcting things. Perhaps the last relationship, we left it in this way. Well, then we get into another relationship and we have high hopes and everything, and then maybe we leave it a different way, but maybe we did better than we did the last time. So if you're doing better than you did the last time, that's progress and not perfection, okay? So when we do this, when we go through the growth process of all these changes, we have these qualities. And so I want you to answer in the comments, what qualities do you think you attain when you go through these growth processes? Because we all go through these growth processes. So what qualities do you think you have attained by going through these growth processes? Okay? Thank you so much again for watching. Your time is valuable. You are valuable, and I look forward again to connecting with you next week. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to say bye. I come from the South. That's the way it is. We're always like, bye, and then we start talking again. Bye, and then we start talking again. Okay, for real. Bye. Thank you.